everyone and welcome to the Charlie's Nail Art YouTube channel. My name's Amanda and I'm one of the ambassadors here at Charlie's Nail Art. So in today's video, I'm going to be using the white doily lace foil in an acrylic design. So I thought I would start off by showing you guys the foil. So as you can see, it's a really intricate lace design. It has loads of little details in there. It's a really pretty foil. Now I'm going to be teaming this foil with some of the Charlie's Nail Art dried flowers. I picked out the pink one here because we're going to be doing a bit of a pink design. So to start off with, I'm going to apply a thin layer of pink acrylic. Now I'm keeping this layer of pink acrylic thin because we're going to be encapsulating the foils and the flowers in the clear acrylic. So I want to make sure my base layer of acrylic is nice and thin. Now if you was doing this on yourself or a client, I would recommend popping down a thin clear base before you come in with your coloured acrylic. So keep all of your acrylic layers nice and thin when you are encapsulating and build up all that strength and structure with your final layer. So I'm just applying that last bead of acrylic. I'm working with a medium to wet consistency just so I can get a nice thin even layer down, and I am trying to make sure that I've got my acrylic as smooth as possible. However, once that acrylic had set, I'm then going to buff over the surface of it just to make sure that there's no lumps or bumps that's going to affect our foil application. If you feel as though you've applied your acrylic nice and even, you might not necessarily need to do this step, but I just had a few little bumps here and there that I wanted to get rid of. So once I have finished buffing all of the nail, I'm going to make sure to really scrub away all of the dust. This is really important because to apply my foils, I'm going to be using a foil gel. So I need to make sure that I remove all of the dust. So I'm giving it a good scrub to begin with a nail brush, and then I'm going to take some alcohol on a lint-free pad and just wipe over it just to make sure it is thoroughly clean. Then, as I said, I'm going to be using a foil gel to apply my foils because this is my preferred method. Now, I'm not going to be applying the foil to the entire nail, so I'm just popping down a thin layer of the foil gel where I want my foil to go. So I just want it in a diagonal pattern across the nail. Once I've finished applying that foil gel, I'm going to pop it in to cure for 30 seconds. Then I'm going to take my white doily lace foil and cut out a section that is large enough for where I want it to go on my nail. So now I've taken my nail out of the lamp and I'm going to press my foil down onto that foil gel immediately when I take it out of the lamp. Then I'm going to just take some time to press and make sure this has adhered to the foil gel. So as you can see, I'm really rubbing over that foil. I like to work from the center outwards, giving it a really good rub, making sure to use a fair amount of pressure just to make sure it fully transfers to the nail. And then I'm going to peel that off, and as you can see, it has fully transferred. I love the Charlie's Nail Art foils because they do always transfer really well, especially when working with a foil gel. So as I said, I did also want to add some flowers to this design. So I'm cutting up that piece of dried flower into some smaller sections because it's a little bit easier to apply and encapsulate when they have been cut up. So once I'm happy with my flower sizes, I'm going to pop down a little wash of acrylic where I'm applying the bulk of those flowers. So I'm just going to be applying it across where the foil ends. Then I'm just picking up the flowers using my wet brush and pressing them down into that acrylic. That acrylic is just going to hold them in place until you encapsulate them. Now you don't want to be applying too much of the monomer over the foils because sometimes it can make them run. Now I haven't actually experienced this with any of the Charlie's Nail Art foils, but I am always careful not to get too much of the monomer on them. So once I've gone across that line of the foil with the flowers, I'm just going to add a few more on here and there, just scatter them around just to add a little bit of extra prettiness to the design. Being really careful when I do add them over the foils, but here I should have added a little bit more acrylic with them because they didn't hold in place when it comes to encapsulating. Before encapsulating, you do want to give that acrylic a minute or two to dry, then you won't necessarily drag the flowers around. Here, they did move and get dragged around a little bit when it comes to encapsulating, but that was because I hadn't placed them down with enough acrylic. I'm just trying to nudge them back roughly into place, but for this particular design, it didn't really matter too much where they were on the nail. But I'm then fully encapsulating that now with my clear acrylic. I like to work slightly wetter with my clear acrylic so it flows down the nail and over all of that nail art easily without having to put too much work into it. If you overwork your clear acrylic, you can end up getting bubbles. So try not to overwork it. And I find the easiest way to do that is to work slightly wetter and just let it flow into place. And then I use quite light feathery strokes with my brush, trying to keep those side walls and free edge as neat as possible, because then we're going to have less finish filing to do. So here I'm placing down my apex bead. I'm just making sure that I'm building up enough strength and structure. I am just working on a display tip, but I'm trying my best to still make sure that all of that nail art is fully encapsulated, and that if it was on a client or on myself, that there was enough thickness there. Then I left my acrylic to fully set, and off camera I did all of my filing, buffing, cleaned away all of the dust so that we can jump straight to top coating. So as you can see, the nail looks quite matte once it's been encapsulated, but you do bring back that high shine with your gel top coat. So I'm just applying a thin layer of this to all of the nail, and then I'm going to pop that in for a 60-second cure. And once that is cured, this is the finished result. So you can find all of these nail art products on the Charlie's Nail Art website. I do also have a 10% discount code, which I will leave in the description box below. So do check that out. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Lots of love. Take care. Bye bye.